Yes, welcome to the channel. Apologies, we had a bit of a late start. We were actually streaming to no one. Yeah, bit of a technical error there, but we're on now. You missed loads. It was a great start. Hopefully we can we'll be all right now. Second time going. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Or those of you that are watching later on, hope you enjoy. We're going to be talking about the Real Madrid game today. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to be. It's not going to be a nice chat. It'll be an honest chat, and you know, we'll say what needs to be said. You know, I think we've all seen that performance several times this season. We've seen scorelines very similar. We've seen worse scorelines, and I suppose if you're going to be positive, maybe it could have been a lot worse. I don't know, but we're going to be covering all of that as well, and we'll do a little bit of a small preview for the Newcastle game that's coming up on the weekend as well. I'll do a full preview of that as well closer to the weekend. I'm joined today by my mate Andy Bowie, but he likes to go by Bowie. He's been a lifelong City fan, so I'm really happy to have him on the channel. Good mate of mine, and you know, we've both been following City together now for a fair few years. But Bowie, if you want to introduce yourself, mate.
How are you, mate? Yeah, I'm Andy Bowie. As Lewis always called me Bowie. I'm just so used to that. I've been following City for 31 years now. I grew up a stone throw away from Main Road. My uncle took me every week. Seen it all, seen the bad, seen the good, and the bad again now. Hopefully it won't last long, but it's part and parcel of being a blue, isn't it?
Very true, mate. Very true. I think obviously we've been spoiled, haven't we? The last kind of 10, 12 years now, really, considering. I mean, you'll have seen it there, you know, following City now for over 30 years. You'll have seen a lot of different squads as well. But growing up, who was your favourite player growing up?
Oh, mate, as a young one, I idolised Georgie Kinkladze. He was unbelievable, mate. I met him when I was about 4 or 5 years old over in Alec Park near Main Road. I was starstruck, and he was great. But then as I got older, mate, it turned into like the likes of Sean Golter, that type of era. Nicky Weaver was one of my favourites, especially that save at Wembley. Yeah, just that's my era. Loved it.
Yeah, I know. As you know, you speak to I say older boys, I say older lads, but you speak to the lads at the Etihad who've obviously been going for a long time. You ask about their favourite player. A lot of people obviously always talk about Kinkladze. I'm probably just a little bit too young to obviously really seen him play for City. But obviously, like, you know, like most of us now, I've seen clips. I think the one the famous goal. I might be wrong here, but was it Southampton when he danced through? Yeah. Danced for everyone at Southampton. Honestly, you know, you look back at the teams then, obviously coming in and out of the Premier League, going down to obviously, you know, what is the Championship now. But having a player like that and a player that could play like that must have been mad, must have been incredible.
He'd walk into the City team now.
Yeah,
he was far superior than anyone we had. It was weird seeing him play for City because he was that good, mate. It was so.
You're not putting Sean Wright Phillips not get a lot of mentions.
Shawnee
Wright.
Shawnee Wright, yeah. I'm over leaving to go to Chelsea. We got a few million for him, mate. But yeah, when he came back and he scored 2 on his debut or something. I love Shawnee Wright. He's a City legend.
The best right, eh? Maybe not. That might be a stretch, but he was a good player. He was a top player. Anyway, the niceties, I think they've got to finish now, aren't they? We'll talk about that performance last night. So, I mean, we'll start off talking the good, which is most of the first half. If any of you watched the stream that we did last week with Luke, I think we all picked our starting 11. There was a couple of surprises in there. I know some of the lads talked about having a Kanji at right back. I actually think he fared okay in that initially in that first half. Obviously that ended up changing, which obviously turned the game. But what did you think of the team? What was your reaction when you saw the team news drop?
There was a bit, not many people happy about it, were they?
No.
Some of the new lads to be playing and whatnot, mate. But the standout for me last night was John Stones in that first half. He bought that midfield, mate. He was all, and I think it went to pot when he went back. And I think that's my opinion on it all, mate. He looked unbelievable.
I agree. I think last night he was obviously one of our best players, obviously, and he doesn't get talked about enough, John. The fact that he can play you could put him honestly anywhere on the park, maybe bar up front, and he'd do a job. Do you know what I mean? But he really does fit in CDM. Obviously, it's a role that Pet's been kind of attuning him to over the last few years. But he's not. For me, he doesn't get spoke about enough. I don't know why.
He doesn't. I think it's the injuries. It's the injuries for him now. Like he can't do for another couple of weeks. But when he's playing, he's just back to his best straight away. He's not like he doesn't take his time to get back into the game. He's awesome. Yeah. So he needs to stay fit, but I think his legs can't do it.
Yeah, we've been unlucky there, haven't we, really? Because, you could have said the same for Company. It was the same, obviously, both defenders. We've just been plagued with injuries, especially when it comes to the defence. For whatever reason, it's like, Yaya's agent, when he put that curse on us, didn't he? It's like it's gone, it's like it's just, I don't know, it's moved to the defence. Yeah, we didn't get my birthday cake, did we? Yeah. I don't know, but, look, he performed really well last night. I thought he was fantastic, and we needed someone like that in the midfield. Obviously, the midfield was still it was still too light. I mean, when they went forward, Madrid, you could see it. You could see the danger there. Obviously, Vinicius was a handful. I don't see Bellingham for me. Started out quite quiet. I know he scored, but for me, he had a bit of a quiet game, didn't he?
Yeah, he started very quiet, mate. I think he's a great player, but. Yeah. I don't see it with him. He wasn't the best player on the pitch last night.
No,
they won, but people expecting him to be, but he just wasn't.
No, he's not. Do you know what? And I'll say this now. Every time we've played Real Madrid, not once has he turned up and been the best player on the park.
Oh, he's not. He's not.
Obviously, look. I'm not saying that I don't rate him, because I think he's obviously one of the best players in the world, isn't he? But
if he wins the World Cup for England, mate, I love him.
Yeah, same here. But the problem is, obviously, if you're a Real Madrid fan, the Champions League last season. You look at the Champions League for them last season. I think the round of 16 he went missing. Anyway, I'm just going into Bellingham to make myself feel a bit better. I think, to be honest with you. Madrid fans aren't going to be bothered at the end of the day, because they took home the W. Yeah. I want to talk about Gvardiol. I think again, someone that's probably just started getting the recognition recently. Really, I know he's popping up with goals. First half of the season, some of the goals he was popping up with, you'd see players like Salah curling him into the top bins on the wing. He was doing those sorts of goals, dinking in and out, slotting it into the right. But last night he was man of the match for me. I thought it was just mega.
Oh, mate, 100%. I think they only give that man of the match to Vinicius because of all that Rodri, the banner and stuff. Just to get back at City, because everyone hates City, don't they? But Gvardiol last night, he was unbelievable, mate.
Yeah,
he was a very, very good player.
Just the way that he can. I mean, it's the fact that he can shut down the attacks, but it's how he dribbles with the ball. He'll take it, he'll turn it around.
Oh, he can go forward, and he's a complete player, mate. I think
100%. There was a period of the game last night where obviously it was coming down that flank, and obviously be intercepting, and he's so forward thinking every time that he kind of he turns back to go. You think, he's going to recycle it, pass it back to Eddie, like some of the other players do. But he'll turn again.
He'll turn out, yeah.
Burn him out on the turn, get it back into the midfield, run forward, back into the midfield. That's how it needs to be. That defence at the minute, I don't want to see any of them on the ball for more than 2 seconds, because we'll talk about the end of the game, but we see what happens. The longer those players at the minute have got the ball, unfortunately, we make mistakes. It's just there's a disconnect there.
It's like they don't want it. It's like they don't want the ball at the minute because of what's going on at City at the minute. It's like they're just scared. It's just a different City at the minute. It's not the City we know.
No, I think everyone's aware of where the club are at the moment. I think I'm not going to be negative. I'm just honest. Yeah, I went into that game yesterday. I wasn't expecting a win. I was quietly confident. I started feeling it a bit towards the game. Some of the stuff that Pep was coming out saying, we need to prove ourselves. We need to, turn up. Obviously, we need to be accountable. You start backing it a little bit more.
Oh, I did.
And that start as well. It was rough. I think the first kind of 5 minutes we started really well, but you knew Madrid are gonna start influencing this at some point.
You're right, mate.
But I think it was a game of two halves at the end of the day. I know it's a cliche that, innit? People don't like hearing that, but it was true. That City team that we had in the first half, it obviously fell apart in the second half. And I tell you what, I'm not his biggest fan, so I think I'm going to mention it. But
I was waiting for it, mate, because I absolutely
Super Jack. Do you know what? Listen, I've got no problem. I'll give him his flowers. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was great last night. It turned out to be a bit of a cameo, didn't it? Because obviously, he ended up going down the tunnel early, which I did feel for him, to be honest with you. Well, you would be. I mean, De Bruyne, obviously, again, talking about De Bruyne, it's not the same De Bruyne that we're used to. It's an older De Bruyne, and he's not quite got that pass anymore. He's not, those passes that we're so used to seeing. He's not really finding them. But that pass, that Jack put in for Haaland against Leyton Orient, and again the ball that he put into Gavardio, it was De Bruyne-esque almost.
Perfect. I'm devastated for him. Do we know what injury was it? Do we know? Was it his groin?
I think it must have been his groin. It must have been his groin. I've not heard anything yet. I'm hoping he's all right.
I think it was a different Jack last night. It was going forward. My dad always messages me saying, Jack always goes back. He always goes sideways. But last night, what did it? I think it's because he's not been playing properly in a team as much. I think he's trying to prove himself that he can do it.
Yeah.
And he was doing it last night. I'm just devastated for him, mate, because he played the half an hour he played was with a completely different Jack. He's going back to the Jack he was in the treble season, and he was class, mate. I just hope he's not out for too long.
I think if you look at, I think one of the big problems at the moment is I've said it loads of times, but there's a lot of players in that team now that have been very comfortable this season. Bernardo, for me, I love Bernardo, and he has got a lot of stick this season. And it's getting to the point where it's like you can't really defend him at this point.
You can't. I love him, mate. You can't. He's not doing it, is he? He's still getting the stats for the most kilometres run and whatnot. I think was it mentioned on your stream the other night about the kilometres? But what's that doing? He's not doing anything if he's not producing anything.
That's what I mean. Where's the output?
When else you can probably try to attack and grab a goal or an assist, or because Bernardo's not doing it at the minute. As much as I love him, he just seems to be banged off it this season.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I love him to bits. He's one of those players for me. He's a bit of a cult hero, isn't he?
100%. 100%.
Winding up the Liverpool fans during the Guard of Honour. Some of the stuff that comes out of in the interviews when we have, against Liverpool and United. Yeah.
It does, mate. But I think it's just these other players we should be putting in there.
Yeah.
In front of him.
I think I don't know if I can't remember. I might have said this last week, but he's a system player, and he's one of those players where, 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10 of his feet he's going to play because he can play the way that Pep wants us. He plays in the transitions, he plays in those pockets.
Yeah.
And he is very good at that, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, he was brought in. He should have been brought in to score goals and get assists because that's what he was doing. He was in the transition, he was bringing the ball out from midfield and scoring or getting assists. But at the moment, you like you said there, and actually, it was Big Steve that mentioned it on I think on his channel weeks back, and it made me think because he said, you see these stats come out and he's ran, 7 miles in the game.
Yeah.
We've been beat 5-1. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
So
I'll get a trophy for it, are you?
No, you would back in school though, wouldn't you? You get you get a participation, wouldn't you? Or like best effort or whatever. Mac has put in the chat there. Sam McDonald is a good mate of ours. Go City. I've been waiting for this. He's obviously referring back to Grealish. Me and Bowie go back and forth in the WhatsApp chats, don't we, mate? In the pub and that. He thinks I've got a vendetta against Grealish, and I you know what? I don't. But like I said, I thought he was brilliant last night, and when he came off, I was gutted for him because at the end of the day, I just want people. I want players. The biggest thing for me is I want players who want to play for the team. They want to play for the shirt, and he's one of the only players. There's been a few of us, Vardy and I think Diaz as well, and obviously Haaland. That when they put the shirt on, it means something.
Yeah.
It's not just about picking up a wage at the end of the week. It's not just about looking good for the cameras or whatever. It's about getting the points, pulling us towards trophies. And there's too many players at the moment that are not playing for the shirt.
Yeah.
And you've got to call it out. And at the moment, Jack's not one of them. And it's good to see him have a reaction. I want that. Yeah. I'd love to see him start over. Look, I don't care if Doku starts. I don't care if Jack starts. I don't care if Savio starts. I just want them to put in a good effort, put in a good performance, put a shift in. We can't be putting in players based off, how they are in the changing rooms if they're good mates with Pep, which a lot of fans are saying at the moment. But anyway, I thought Jack was brilliant in a nutshell.
That's it, mate.
Moving on to actually, how do you think Savio performed last night?
With Savio, mate, he's come in, mate, and I think he's a great player. I don't know, mate, because I think everyone played well in that first half, and then second half, mate, everyone went to sleep. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd play him at the Bernabéu. But who would have played instead?
I think again, it seemed to me that at the very least in that second half when we started to get overrun a little bit, especially in that midfield, he was one of the only lads that were tracking back. And I remember, I think it was Vinicius. We tracked back and he managed to get the ball. I love that. He's pumping the crowd up. I love to see that.
Yeah, he was doing that in the first half, mate. Yeah. I wasn't there last night, but I've heard it was twice in his channel, probably another video. But the Hull City doing the tickets is just shocking, mate.
Atrocious, mate.
Shocking. There was no atmosphere at all. But
I
got Savio trying to hype up the crowd, and no one's asked. There was I see it. Don't get the trip before at half time.
Yeah.
Shocking,
isn't it? And you know what? Rival fans, United fans, Liverpool fans, and all that, they'll jump on, they'll see clips like that, and the ripples to shreds. And I would, you know what I mean? I would do the same. We all would, wouldn't we? You know what I mean? But it's genuinely not the City fans. If there's rival fans, the people are going to watch this and think that we don't want to turn up to the game. It's not true. The club are prioritising tourists at the minute, and look. Nothing wrong with bringing tourists into the game. It's going to bring in money, but it has to be
like that though.
No. But there's got to be a balance, haven't there? And ultimately, you've got to put the core fan base first. It has to be the core fan base first, mate. This happened to me this season. None of this is a lie whatsoever. I told Luke about this because Luke put up a tweet talking about. The fan base, well, not the fan base, but the club at the minute and allowing all the tourists in. And I replied and said, I should be on the cup scheme. I've been on the Champions League scheme every season I've been at the ground, right? And I ended up getting a new card, or something happened, and my old card details were registered on the ticketing account on City. I didn't realise this, so obviously they went to take a payment for a league game, and a Champions League game, and it failed. Anyway, I got an email the next day saying I was off the cup scheme. They kicked me off the Champions League cup scheme. I replied to them. I just said, I've been Europe. I think at this point been Europe 3 times now. Been all the way to Norwich. I go every single week. You're gonna kick me off after one missed payment.
It's a joke, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, but of course they are. Of course they are, because they know, right? Kick him off. That's a spare seat. That.
Well, the thing is, mate, I think I sold my ticket back to City once this season, and I think you get is it 30 quid, 35 quid or something, 1 out of 19.
Yeah.
But then they offer double.
Yeah.
It's just mad, mate. Do we need more money?
This is it, mate, and I've seen a lot of Blues talking about scrapping it. Just I'm gonna give it away now. But do you know what? It sounds awful, but it's what the club want.
What they want, yeah.
It seems like that's how it's going. It's what they want, because they know, at the end of the day, I go every week. I'm not going to go into the club shop and buy a hat or a top every week. I'm not going to money for that. I'm not going to go and eat at the ground every week. I'm not going to pay for parking at the ground. But these guys who come and once a year or twice a year, they are going to do all that. They're going to take some home for the family. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
But anyway. Yeah, no, you know what, mate? It was a good shout, that, because I think it did need addressing. I think it's a big talking point that's obviously come out after the game. But moving on to, we'll talk about Haaland as well, actually, because yeah, twice as well. I know the second one was a penalty, but what a penalty it was as well.
Oh, mate.
But that finish, mate, for that first one,
mate, he's awesome, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes me laugh. I think I saw CBS comparing him and Mbappe, and Mbappe can take the ball, he can dribble with the ball. Great, it's good, great, good for Real Madrid. That's how they play. We've put him up there to score goals.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. People keep looking at these aspects of his game. That's not we've not bought him to take the ball, dribble 30, 40 yards and put it in the back of the net.
Got players that just get in that box and get an head on it or get a foot on it. I don't care. Yeah, the game, but if he scores twice, good. Yeah.
Mate, he's the best finisher in world football, and
by a country mile, mate.
There's no one. You look at Mbappe's numbers. They're still nowhere near. I think it was something like 58 games and 49 goals or something, and I think his is something daft like 52 goals and 50. It's mental, and that's the Champions League. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Doing that in the Champions League. I thought it was brilliant.
Still quite annoyed over that Mbappe goal, mate. It was, how fluky was that?
The first one.
Yeah, the bicycle kick way off his shin.
Look, I mentioned this in the stream last week with Luke. I don't know if Luke's still watching, but hopefully he remembers. I questioned this, and what my question was who do you start for this game? Do you start Ortega? Do you start Edison? And obviously,
that question. Yeah.
Everyone went with Edison. Fair play, and I did. I put Edison in my lineup, but the one thing that I'd say again, if we're being brutally honest, I think he saves that first one. Honestly, I do. I think he saves the first one. I don't know. Maybe I'm being harsh, and I think he parries that second one. I don't know what Edison was thinking there. It was just kamikaze, man.
What are you rushing for? Why is he rushing to try to get the ball out?
He's an experienced keeper.
I love Eddie, and I think I'd start him over Ortega, even at the Bernabéu, but it was silly mistakes. Silly mistakes that cost us.
Yeah.
I think it was Macri put on the chat there. He was just saying Edison was having a nightmare, and he was. I can't defend him. He just wasn't good enough last night. But I still take him over Ortega. As much as I love Ortega, I think I still take Eddie.
Yeah. it's a difficult one for me because I think he's rallied well in the last few games. I think he's been all right, and actually he's not really known for his shot stopping, but he was good in that Real Madrid game, mate. He did.
Great
He
saves,
kept
mate.
us in it, and
He made some good 2 or 3 all great saves, mate.
Yeah. I think if you're gonna look at the mistake, I think you've also got to look at what went well because he was brilliant overall. But at the same time, we'd have probably walked away with 3 points. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them, innit? We don't know. Ortega might have made more mistakes.
Yeah.
We're just assuming. But talking about that second half, what do you think? What was the change for you? What was the factor of Madrid? Obviously, I suppose dominating that second half.
We've got to say it, mate. Rico, I don't think they should have brought Rico on, mate. Was it half time he came on? What was up with Andy? Was it injury or was it Aki went off?
It was no, it was. I think it was a Kanji on it. I think he had a knock.
The injured or something.
Don't know. Maybe he tweaked something.
On the bench, mate. I don't know why he's bringing Rico on for that second half. You can say Rico he loves City, this and that, like what we've been talking about, but he's not right for that game. I think that was a major part in that second half, bringing Rico on at half time.
Yeah, I agree. I think, one thing I want to say about Rico is he's getting a lot of stick at the minute.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, he wasn't supposed to be playing. I know it sounds mad because he was obviously on the bench and that, and obviously you've got to be prepared to play. I get that, but obviously there was a game plan. Keep Akanji at right back. And obviously Akanji took a knock and it forced Rico to come on. And I think, I love the man. I love the man to bits. I think he's a genius, but you've got to question it. Why not bring Kusanov on over Rico?
That must have been pretty hard on the top of the bench there, seeing Rico come on and not himself. Because I would have put him on.
I just think you're opening up. It's like, you're bringing Gundogan on.
Yeah.
With Kovacic in the midfield, me, Luke, and Tabo on last week's stream, we were laughing, shaking our heads. God forbid we start with that. As soon as they cannot play, they cannot play together. It's as simple as that. Yeah. They've not got the legs. Yeah, and again, he's exposing players. He's exposing. I feel bad for Kovacic.
Yeah.
Because, Kovacic should be put Bernardo Silva next to him or, put Nico next, someone who can actually run between the lines, cover. Because Kovacic, fair play, in credit to him, he's good at taking the ball, deep midfield and bursting through and obviously moving it on. But why not Kusanov? He's physical. He's obviously much more suited for me to that right back role. Where would you play Rico? Would you play him in midfield or would you play him at right back?
I'd probably play him on the bench if I'm honest with you, mate. No. In what do you mean in games like that, or just
in general? Because honestly, you ask any City fan, mate, where's his best position? No one knows.
I don't know where his best position is, mate. I don't know. It's a tricky one. Honestly, mate, I don't think he's good enough to play for City. Right. He'll probably score at the Bernabéu next week, won't he?
Yeah, score the winner.
Yeah, but no, these other players are playing in front of him, mate.
Yeah, I think
he's playing against Plymouth, the Southamptons and the them type of teams. Yeah. Do you know when we're struggling for players like with injuries? Not we are struggling with injuries, but like I said, we've got Kusanov on the bench. I don't think I start him. I don't know where his best position is. I don't know. And I loved him when he burst into the team.
Yeah.
Do you remember he's in his team now? Cancelo left because pretty much for that reason, wasn't it? Rico. Imagine we would have kept Cancelo. He would have been.
Yeah, that's a great shout. That.
Yeah.
I've not heard many people mention that. Actually, that's a good shout. I mean, obviously.
Well, a lot of City fans hate him. And don't get me wrong. His attitude. When Rico broke into the team, you seen his ass in it. But Rico was playing well at the time. But that's when you need to be performing training and then showing like you're good enough to start. But I reckon if we would have had Cancelo last night, it would have been we could have bought him on.
Yeah.
or I didn't make because he's a great player. But yeah, he's the reason he's left. Rico's the reason Marcelo left.
I know, and do you know what? There's a player there. There is, he has got good technique. It's just he's obviously not physical enough to be a right back.
He's not.
So maybe he's being played out of position. But the problem that you've got is, where else you play him? If you're going to put him in the midfield, who's going
to go in instead of?
Well, this is No, I agree. I think, but at the same time, I think he was exposed a bit last night. I felt like, hindsight's one of them, innit? It's a beautiful thing. We can all say this person should have played, but genuinely, I think it was a mistake. I think that obviously turned the game because he then went on to make the mistake with Vinicius, obviously brought it down, and then that was Bellingham's goal, wasn't it, when he played in Bellingham for the winner? And it had to be Bellingham, didn't it? Did nothing all game, and then
nothing all game, mate, and then stood there in celebration in front of the family stand.
Yeah, I know. Do you know what? It was Haaland's celebration as well. I don't know if you caught that. He copied Haaland's walk.
Yeah. No, I didn't catch that, mate. I'm glad I didn't, to be fair.
Just catching strays all the time. He's catching strays all the time, isn't he, Erling? He's staying humble, doing the walk.
Oh, I know. He loves it, doesn't he? He loves the banter.
Yeah, no. He's good. I think, I think to summarise, Rico coming on, obviously, I think... obviously, John then dropped back into the. John ended up dropping back into the defence, didn't he? As well. When Gundo came on, or Gundo and Kovacic came on, he kind of dropped back, and we just lost the midfield because we were always going to lose the midfield with those two.
Bossing that midfield, mate. He was controlling the game, and he looked awesome. But when he got back, I think that's when he went to pot. Yeah,
we all love Gundogan. He's he's one of them. He's a club legend. Captained us to the treble. Scored that amazing goal against United in fastest FA Cup goal or something daft like that. He's a club legend. But again, he shouldn't be playing in these games. He shouldn't be anywhere near the squad.
I've said for Gundogan, mate. I don't think he wasn't brought back for this many games. Like he wasn't expect Rodri to get injured straight away and him having to play every week because he's not got the legs for it. I think he was brought back for the Carabao Cup and Cup type of games, but he's just seen himself in a Champions League against Real Madrid or in like a big Premier League game. He's just not got legs for it. But we have to field him.
Yeah. It was like because a dead horse, isn't it, at the minute?
Yeah. But yeah, he's a legend, mate. But I think he's done now. I think his legs have gone, and I don't think he should be anywhere near that team at the Bernabéu.
No, I agree, mate. I agree. We've got True City fan here. Good evening, lads. Good evening to you, mate. Kusanov in his right back, and maybe if Nico was injured, throw in Núñez for legs, not Gundogan. Again, I think it's a good shout. I genuinely, again, I know Núñez gets a lot of stick, but you've got. I think people have also got to understand he's not a right back. He's brought in a midfielder, right? I agree with that. Now, obviously, Gundo 2-3 years ago, Núñez wouldn't get a sniff, but it's not the same Gundo. He's still a young lad, somewhat compared to Gundo anyway, and he's got the legs.
Yeah.
But Kusanov in his right back, 100%. I think Pep will look back at that now and think, you know what, I made a mistake there.
I'd play him against Newcastle. Probably give him a full 90 or maybe a 75. Yeah. See how we and then get him in that right back for the Bernabéu, mate, because it's no brainer for me. You have to start him.
It lifts.
Controversially, mate, fly Walker back in, mate, just for that game.
Honestly, again, this is something that me, Luke, and T spoke about last week. We're in this position. We're not. It's not completely Walker's fault. Obviously not. The injuries, obviously losing Rodri, and individual performance haven't been good enough. But the club are also in a position where we're forcing. We're trying to convert centre halves into right backs. In terms of Kusanov, we're playing Rico Lewis at right back, who, again, there's no physicality to him. So, for a club captain, who is a legend. But it's bittersweet for me because I think you've left us in the shit here. You've left us in this position.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You've got that mental edge as well. He's pocketed Vinicius every time he's played him. He was our best player in those games.
If Vinny would have gone to the Etihad last night, absolutely buzzing that Walker's not there.
Yeah. Anyone seeing, and again, Akanji's not been great recently, but he's also not a right back. He's definitely not a right back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a frustrating one, man. I mean, what was it? 87 minutes. Some of the 86 minutes we were 2-1 up. 87 minutes we were 2-1 up.
Mm.
How'd you concede 2 goals in
silly
6 minutes?
Honestly, silly mistakes. It's just City this season, though, isn't it, mate? Like when we were 2-1 up, I just knew something was going to happen. You can't relax.
Yeah.
I still would have been worried going to the Bernabéu 2-1 up.
Yeah.
Let alone 3-2 down now, mate. So it's a big mountain to climb. But yes, it's just a silly mistakes. We're just not learning from them.
No. It's the same ones as well.
Yes. I don't know what's going on.
People, some of these players need to get dropped. It's as simple as that. Again, it feels to me like he's playing players based on maybe loyalty, maybe past achievements, whatever it may be. I love Kev to bits, but it weren't happening for him last night. It wasn't happening. He was just a tired set of legs in there, and unfortunately, he's not the Kev that we know. We all know that, and I think the argument is, he's always got that bit of magic in him. He might pull something out, but doing a worldie in a city. I think this isn't me, so this is a good quote. It's not my quote. I won't take credit for it, but someone said, it's not good enough pulling out a world class assist every 5 games. It's not.
Yeah.
Phil didn't get a sniff last night, really, did he? Either.
No, not at all, mate. I thought when he come on for Grealish, I thought he was gonna shine. Obviously, he got his penalty, didn't he? But that was about it, really, wasn't it? That was about it. I thought they had a load of injuries, but somehow they fielded a quite a strong team, didn't they?
Do you know what? I thought that's one of the things. That's one of the reasons I went into it quite confident, because I kept hearing, their back line, it's not great. Obviously, they were missing Rudiger. They're patched up, and I thought, do you know what? They are vulnerable. We can, they might be, maybe not as vulnerable as us, but it gives you something to go for.
Yeah,
and they were vulnerable. Some of the balls that went in that first goal, as great as it was and as awesome as Guardiola and Haaland were, they probably don't concede that if Rudiger's in that back line.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean?
Penalty,
it's one of again, we're talking about things that may or may not have happened, but he's back next week, isn't he? So
he's there.
I think that's that. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's set to be back for the next leg. So
Hey, does anyone want to buy a Madrid away ticket? Because I'm not going.
Yeah, you can have mine as well, actually. So you can take a mate with you.
Yeah,
we're going to be there, aren't we, mate? Next week, we're flying out on Monday night.
Yeah, good few days away. That.
Yeah, well, yeah. Do you know what? It'll be a good laugh. That if you've not done a European away day, honestly, it's the best trip. It's mega. Get to be in and amongst the Blues. I know some of the other content, some of the other City lads. Obviously, Big Steve, he goes home and away. He's always there. Daps is always there. I think I bumped into them Madrid last year as well. So it's a good laugh, and you get talking to everyone. But it's mint in it. But we did sport in Lisbon a few years back.
Yeah, we did Lisbon. That was a great trip. That one. Was it during COVID? Or was COVID just lifted? So it was pretty quiet in Lisbon, wasn't it? But still a great trip.
Oh mate, it was unreal. Yeah, it was fantastic.
I've not done Madrid before, like you, mate. How many times have you been now? Is it twice?
This will be my 3rd time. To be honest with you, I'm getting a bit bored.
Go on the local bars, mate.
I'm a local now.
Local. Have the usual, please.
Yeah, you know what I have, mate. Sangria and ice. No, I'm looking forward to it. I think I was hoping for Bayern Munich, to be honest, mate, because I've never done. Obviously, I've only ever done 2 grounds. This has been the 3rd time at the Bernabéu, and obviously we did sport in Lisbon's ground.
Yeah.
I wanted Bayern because I fancied the Allianz Arena. I've never been to Germany, but you know what, City and Real Madrid, it's just one of those things, isn't it? We have to face them every single year.
We have to, mate. It was always Um, what are your thoughts on next week then? Do you reckon we could do it, or do you reckon it's dead and buried?
I think. Do you know what, mate? I said when we conceded the second one, I said, right. Do you know what? I don't imagine. I think there's a lot of City fans that would have gone. Yeah. Do you know what? Fine. At least we're not going in there down, because let's be completely honest. We all saw the Arsenal game. I think there was a lot of people thinking it could have turned out like that. You know, and it could have done. You look at their wingers. Look at the players they've got. Bellingham. Obviously, they've got Mbappe. They've got some of the fastest players in the world. You know, against that midfield that we've seen over the last few weeks, it could have been an absolute thrashing. Do you know what I mean? So when it got to 2-2, I was annoyed. Don't get me wrong, because you know we could have gone and took the advantage there. But I thought, right, lads, just calm down. Just no stupid mistakes. Let's just see it out. It'll do us a world of good. Just to not lose this game. But then obviously, you know, City being City and how we've been, that's not possible at the minute. So, I'm not going to lie to you, mate. I'm not going to go in there thinking we're going to do it, because I think the chances are pretty slim, especially with Rudiger coming back in. But it's a one-off game, innit? So
He's not going to be fully fit. Like, he'll be fit, but he's not going to be like on it, is he?
Who's that?
Like, that Rudiger, if he plays, mate, he's not going to be like fully fit though, is he? Like, he one of his first game back. So
yeah, it'll be interesting, mate. I think we'll know a lot more, won't we? 7 o'clock British time anyway. On is it Wednesdays? What Wednesday did we play?
Wednesday, yeah.
I think we'll know more. We'll get a good feeling of it and how he's kind of setting out when we see the starting 11. I don't think we're going to see obviously the same team. There's more injuries now. I think we've got to get Nico in there. I think he's got it. I think, you know, if we're going to go for it, Nico's got to start in midfield.
Start the Nico, the Mamouche, and the Kushner. Would you start them all completely different team?
Throw the kitchen sink at it.
Yeah.
Throw the kitchen sink at it.
Is he, mate?
But I don't know. I mean, it depends how they're viewing it. You know, because it's one of them. I said off stream, didn't I? I think a great season for us right now will be top 4 in an FA Cup. I think that'd be a great season, you know, for where we are right now. I don't want to be negative. It's not like me to be negative, but at the same time, we've got to be honest. Even if we get past Real Madrid, we've still got to play. We've still got to face teams like Leverkusen and Atletico, and we've seen what Atletico Madrid are like at home, mate. Even when we were bossing it.
Destined to score against it.
What do you think?
What for next week?
Yeah.
I'm optimistic, mate. I think I don't know. I've got a slight feeling we might just nick it.
Yeah.
It might be silly of me to say, but I've got a funny feeling.
Nick it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'll go with you there. City, you're
I
going
don't know if it's going, and I'm just excited about it.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Let us know in the chat. Put your prediction. Get your predictions in the chat for next week's game. I want to see. I don't want to see any losses in there. We're gonna go there and batter them because I paid a lot of money. That's why. No, at least we'll see what we'll see. But let's we'll finish. We'll talk a little bit about. We've got Newcastle this weekend, obviously back at home. We'll be there for that. How do you feel going into that now off the back of this game?
Worried, mate, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one, mate. I'm not saying because of home advantage, we should beat it, mate. But I genuinely don't know this part of the season now, mate. It could go either way.
Yeah.
Could go. What about you?
I think it's like the Madrid one. I think it's a must-win game, mate. Honestly, I do. I think we have to get a result this weekend.
Yeah, we have to. We have to. Where are they? Where are they in the league now? We're fifth, aren't we? Is it them?
So, they are currently. They're sixth in the league. So actually, do you know what? They're sixth in the league. They've got the same. We're both on 41 points. So this is a massive game. Absolutely massive. I think we've got to win. Yeah, I know it sounds obvious. People say, "Oh, well, obviously," but it's unfortunate, isn't it? Because
this is a massive game, mate.
I think the Etihad need to turn up, and you know what I mean by that is everyone top, you know, get your singing out on whatever, you know, get a few pints down you if that's what you need. Get to the ground nice and early, support the lads and be vocal. They need support more.
Yeah,
you know, more now than ever, and we didn't have it really massively in that Champions League game. Not the fans' fault. Again, you point at the club, but we should get a lot of the Blues back for that Newcastle game. Mac has put Sam McDonald will beat Newcastle. He's confident we'll beat Newcastle. We'll put a score in. You can't hide behind that, Macca. Put a score in, mate. Put your chest behind that. What score?
Put a bet on it, Macca.
Yeah, I want to see your bet slip. We'll post it on the socials. I'll do a preview for that as well. I'll do a proper match preview. He's put 2-0. 2-0. All right, 2-0. Okay. It's looking good. Who's going to score? Who's scoring? 2-0.
I think we might concede, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, I know that's pretty optimistic. That I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 3-2. I think it's going to be a blockbuster.
Do you reckon 3-2?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a blockbuster. I think Haaland's going to score 2. I think Marmoush will bag as well if he plays. But I think you're not going to keep Isaac out. You know, he's in top form at the minute.
Yeah, he's definitely bagging, mate.
100%.
I'm going to go. I think they'll score, mate. I'm going to go like a 2-1 City. I think
2-1 City.
Optimistic, but you've got to be, haven't you, mate? It's just, I don't know who's going to score, but as long as he's scoring, I might have to if it is.
Yeah. He's put Mac has put Haaland probably. Wouldn't mind seeing Marmoush getting goals though. Yeah, I think at the minute all the goals are going to be, you pin it on Haaland, don't you? Which is one of the problems this year as well. Is, you know, in previous seasons we had players who were getting, you know, 20, players like Alvarez putting up 15 goals, 20 goals a season. You know, Phil Foden chipping in with a load of goals, but that's not happening this season. So I think that's one of the things that we're struggling with at the moment is we're just not scoring. The team collectively aren't scoring enough goals.
Yeah, I agree with you there, mate.
But I think we'll wrap it up there. I think we've pretty much covered all the base there. Just want to say thank you to everyone for joining the stream, supporting us. Obviously, you know, this channel, you know, all this stuff is new. It's very new to me. It's new to, you know, this is Bowie's first time coming on doing something like this. This is only my second time, so I appreciate all the support. It does mean a lot. Stick with us. There's going to be loads more content coming out. I'm working hard behind the scenes. It is just me, so it takes up a bit of time, but we're going to have loads more content coming out. So I'm going to put something together. Hopefully, get some more guests on for the Newcastle game, but please just make sure, like and subscribe, get us out there as far as we can. You know, I said it last week, I want this channel to be a channel for the fans to get involved. You know, not just the same faces every week, but this is the second episode now. Obviously, we've got a new face. We had 2 new faces last week, and I want to see that. I want to get more voices from everywhere. But Bowie, any last thoughts, any last words before we finish up, mate?
Nothing from me, mate. Just hopefully win at the weekend and win next week, mate.
Yeah, easy as that.
But you've got to believe, haven't you? Being a Blue, you never know. Got
to believe, mate. Together, that was the club motto a few years back, wasn't it?
We're going through a bit of a bad patch, mate. But like I said, it's been a lot worse, mate.
Yeah, exactly, mate. We've been way worse.
Still great to be a City fan, no matter what, the ups and downs.
Exactly, mate. People forget the Mark Hughes days, man, when I think we drew like 7 on the bounce, didn't we? Remember that?
That, mate, it's a bit that, yeah.
It's crazy, but mate, appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you soon, buddy.
Yeah, sound. Nice one, mate.
Cheers, everyone.